Good evening, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. It's a cold night in Auckland, not raining right now, but it was raining throughout the day. And for those watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, everybody's welcome, whether you're watching us live or watching us a little bit later. So tonight, as usual, we have our study group. We'll first do our inspirational reading, and straight after we do our initial prayer to open our meeting. And after that, we go and study gospel according to Spiritism, and we open space for some comments and some questions as well. So if you're watching us, you can send us your comments or questions. We'll keep an eye on that. And for those that are here, please feel free to participate as well. After that, we do the reading of the Spirits book. We do a few questions, or yeah, depending on the length of the questions, we may do more or less questions. I think today we have a long answer, so we just go with the flow. And after that, we go to the last phase of our meeting, the vibration phase. So it's the opportunity to vibrate to those in need and also to do the collective spiritual treatment. And the final prayer. So we don't have news at the moment, but soon we'll have a few lectures, upcoming lectures in semester 2, and just keep an eye on our Facebook or Instagram with our news. We'll start then with our inspirational reading. I was going to read for us and to do the initial prayer as well, please. Thank you.
Living Spring, item 21, Grateness. The lesser is blessed by the greater. Paul, Hebrew 7:7. In any activity in life, there are those who reach natural greatness among their relatives, friends, and contemporaries. There are those who are great because of their knowledge, virtue, and competence. In general, however, those who are elevated to any level of superiority usually use their status to neglect their debt to regular people. Those who become financially great often become virtuous. Those who stand out as scientists become conceited, and those who come into power embrace vain pride. However, the law of life does not allow for exclusiveness or separatism. According to the divine principles, all true progress is to become a blessing for the whole community. Nature itself, after sublimes, listens in this regard. A tree grows to bear fruit. A spring grows to beneath the soil. If you have growing experience or have reached a higher position of some kind, remember fraternal communion with all. The sun, with his rain of light, does not abandon the muddy cavern or the scorn the womb. Growth is power. Mind how you use the advantage you have been given in life. The greatest spirit of all those who have ever been born accept offering the ultimate sacrifice in order to help all unconditionally. Do not forget that according to the divine statute, the lesser is blessed by the greater.
Thank you.
All right, just relax wherever you are now. Take a deep breath. Let's elevate our mind to Jesus, to Almighty God. We would like to thank you for this opportunity, for being here tonight, all together, once again. We would like to ask the good spirits and the friendly spirituality to bless this meeting and allow us to start another Allan Kardec Spirit Group meeting. We ask that the good spirits bless us in this moment and always. So be it.
Hello, Tanya, come in. No problem. No problem, that's so good. Yeah, we start with the gospel according to Spiritism, and we already started, was last week, I think, that chapter? Not last week, the week before. Yeah. So it's chapter 25, seek and you shall find. So we already went through a couple of topics, and we're going to continue tonight. So maybe before we go to the item of tonight, we should do a review, and for those that were here, not last week, a couple of weeks ago. So that's a memory test as well, right? For us, like 2 weeks ago can be hard to remember sometimes, but we'll do our best. And many people, most of us have read that before. So it's a chapter 6, and you shall find, was help yourself and heaven will help you, and also observe the birds in the sky. Does anyone has any comments from the previous lessons?
I think one really important thing they mentioned was when it talks about asking for help, that what the capability of actually completing what we have to will be provided to us, not the final goal itself. So if you shall ask God for fish, He won't give you the fish. He will give you the willpower, the knowledge, the understanding for you to learn how to fish so you can go and catch it. I remember thinking about patience. If you ask God for more patience, for you to be a more calm person, He's going to put a lot of agitated people in your life. So you can pursue that ability, so you can absorb the attribute by actually practicing. So I think it was really important when it talked about it, how we actually receive or what we actually ask for it. We always have the capability of it. We have the chances of trying, the chances of improving it. Instead, you just wake up one day and, oh, now I'm the wisest person on the planet, right?
Yeah.
What else?
Also talks about the law of labor and law of progress, which is related to what you said. So we need to do our parts as well. It's not just ask and wait for things to happen. So seek and shall find. If we don't do our parts, nothing's gonna happen. The other aspect was about asking for material things. So we are in a material place, but that's not the most important for our eternal soul. But when we ask for moral things or the moral aspects of ourselves, so we shall receive when we ask for courage, when we ask for patience, as he says, and all the virtues that we still need to achieve or work on it. So these are the asks that we should do rather than material ones, because, well, this material planet is temporary and everything will stay here, so we're just using while we are here. And they may be on the way of our moral as well, in terms of the more, it's very hard, we don't know yet how to deal with material things that can bring us lots of selfishness, lots of pride as well, so we're better off concentrating on the moral aspects and ask for the strength, the courage, and the moral things that we need to be better and improve ourselves. So it's a matter of asking and seek, but know what we're looking for as well. So a few good lessons in there. And they observe the birds in the sky is also about the faith, because talks about the birds that God always provides to them. And for us can be really hard to trust. We always suspicious, always, many times we don't trust, we don't have faith that things will work out, and we don't see the answers to the problems. But even though we don't see the answers, sometimes the answers will come in a way that we didn't expect. I think that we all have experienced that sometime in our life, because we see, oh, that should happen, so then things will work out. But there are many other ways that we are not able to perceive, and things work out in the end.
Sometimes we have questions, but when you actually understand why you ask the question, the answer is no longer required.
Yeah, that's true. So the faith and the trust are very important for us, and we sometimes we manage to have faith, sometimes we don't. So we keep on that. go here and there, right? So we can probably start reading the topic of tonight. So probably just one to finish is a very short chapter, actually, that one. So does anybody would you like to read for us?
We can start.
Thank you. Can you see what you want the book?
Yeah.
Oh, you have, oh, okay.
Do not wear yourself out for the possession of gold. Do not fret for the possession of gold or silver or any other coins in your purse. Do not prepare a bag for the journey, or two cloaks or shoes, or a staff for those who work deserve to be fed. In any city or town that you have entered, inquire as to who is the worth to house you, and remain with him until you leave. When you enter the house, greet it, saying, May peace be in your house. If the house is worthy, your peace will come up upon it. If it is not, your peace will return to you. Whenever someone does not wish to receive you or to listen to your words, when you leave that house or city, wipe the dust from your feet. Purify. I very. I say to God. I say to you that on the day of judgment, Sodom and Gomorrah will be treated less harshly than the city. Matthew 10, 9 to 15.
Keep going, please,
Yeah.
because now is the explanation, so after that we can make some comments.
All right.
Thank you.
11. These words which Jesus addresses to his disciples when he sent them out for the first time to proclaim the good news display nothing strange for the era. They are, they are in the keeping with the patriarchal custom of the East, where the traveler was always welcomed into one's tent. However, back then travelers were rare. Among modern cultures, the increasing travel has led to the creation of new customs, and those of ancient times are found only in far-off regions that have not yet been affected by much travel. And if Jesus were to return today, he would no longer be able to tell his disciples, set out without any provisions. Besides their actual meaning, these words contain a much deeper moral meaning. Jesus were thereby teaching his disciples to trust in providence. By having nothing, they could not tempt to greed of those who received them. It was a way to distinguish the charitable ones from the selfish. That's why he said to them, inquire as to who is worth to house you, which means who is human enough to shelter the traveler who has no means of pay, because such persons are worthy of hearing your words. By their charity you will recognize them. As for those who did not want to welcome them or listen to them, did, did he tell his disciple to curse them, to impose themselves or them of or to use force and coercion to convert them? No, but purely and simply to go somewhere else and look for persons of goodwill. This is what Spiritism tells its adherents today. Do not violate anyone's conscience. Do not force anyone to live their own beliefs to adopt yours. Do not cast any anathema on those who do not think like you. Gather those who sorry, gather those who come to you and leave in peace those who reject you. Remember Christ's words. Formerly, formerly heaven was taken by force. Today it's taken by kindness. Up to chapter 4, numbers 10 and 11.
Thank you, Guilherme. Do you have any comments or questions? So usually we just do a round and, well, we used to do like the pen technique before COVID. We would pass the pen like one by one, but because of COVID, we're not doing that part. But yeah, we can just do a round and see if people have any comments or any questions. If you don't want to say anything, no problem at all. And you could say even in English or Portuguese, no problem.
I think one important point here is do not violate anyone's conscience. Do not force anyone to leave their own beliefs to adopt you. It's, it's common for other groups or other religions, but in Spiritism it's not recommended.
Yeah, it's a great recommendation for us, eh? Thank you, Guilherme. Do you have any comments or any questions? No? That's all right. How about you?
Yeah, interesting because we see nowadays in the media, like what's happening in America being divided by who believes on the right of abortion and who those don't believe that's in the will of the woman to take that decision of what to do with their body. And it's basically because people cannot tolerate each other, cannot accept difference of thought, and it goes against that those teachings from the Spiritism of allow people have freedom of think different of you and accept people be different. Everyone is at a different stage of their life of understanding.
Definitely. Oh, thank you. Daniel? Yeah, with parables, we always need to also take in consideration the time when that was written, because that advice from Jesus, as it says here, would not apply in the modern costumes or the modern society. So back in the day, it was okay for a traveler to go without any material things and just expect someone to receive them at their place. So that was common in that time. Of course, nowadays could be very dangerous and could be very risky for someone just to do that. So when Jesus told the disciples, "You go, but don't take your shoes, don't take your stuff, and just go to places where people can receive you well," meaning people that would have the same beliefs or would accept them and would be charitable as well to receive them. And for those that would be against the beliefs of the disciple would be okay. So don't fight, don't try to push on them your own belief, and just respect. So that's, and that lesson remains for us in terms of being Spiritist, of being Christian, to just be aware of our beliefs and not try to convince others, not try to fight, not try to change others' opinion. So it's hard enough to change ourselves, so why we want to change other people? So it's best to concentrate our energy in changing ourselves, which is a big challenge. But it's easier in a way. Our tendency is to really project on others our own vices or our own imperfections, because it's easier to identify in someone else a mistake rather than for us to own our to recognize our own mistakes. So that's something that many times subconsciously we do just to protect ourselves. But we need to use the opportunity as we are here, incarnated, and is our earth is our school and our opportunity to improve ourselves. And Spiritism is a blessing for us because it brings us lots of light, lots of explanation and understanding. But everyone has a different way. So will be, of course, people from other religions that can improve a lot in this incarnation, and people even without religion, they may be more charitable than us as spiritists. So that doesn't determine people's evolution, just the religion. For that matter, it will be, of course, the actions, the thoughts, and what we do in our lives, pretty much. Any comments?
First comes the action, then comes the title, right? Not the other way around. Not because you call yourself good, charitable means you're actually doing good, right? First you do it, then you just feel like it. Those costumes were obviously, like Australia said, we don't practice that these days anymore. The closest we have now is Airbnb, but we still have to pay for it. It's interesting the part that he also says, if they don't accept you, just wipe your feet and keep going on the way of, don't take anything from them. Don't take their way of pursuing life and with you. You just live it. That's the way they want to be, which is exactly what we actually just spoke before, right? When someone gives you something and it's not good, don't take it. Leave it with them. So he expressed, leave the dust there. Leave the behaviors there and you carry on. You have to be where you are welcome. You have to talk to people that want to listen and so on and so on and so on. We are all right here right now for a reason. We all have to come here. We didn't come a week before, so we are where we have to be when we have to be, right? In many parables that came before those ones, we had studied that we should never try to convince people, try to force anything. We didn't, some of us didn't born believing spiritism, or we didn't understand that. One day in your life, that was the moment and you learned, or you actually just remembered. Could be something that you already know. So I found fascinating that we are mentioning again, just apply good where good is received. Don't waste. I think we studied last month about the disciples going and passing their learnings. And if you find someone who is actually confronting you and they have a different belief, just leave it. Go try to help those who actually don't have any knowledge, who have how to say, a poor spirit, right? Who does not know anything, then you will be more useful. Then you are actually trying to convince someone and the person just is there to argue with you and etc. You're just wasting your time. You waste your knowledge when that could be applied helping someone else that actually needs your help.
And was one part here I can't find now, but also said was a great lesson for the disciple to trust the providence. So to trust God, to trust the objectives of being spreading Jesus' word as well. So that applies to us as well. We don't need to go and we still need to spread in a way like Jesus' lessons by our example, by what we do. So we don't need to say, I am a spiritist, I believe in God, in Jesus, I believe in reincarnation. We don't need to say that, but by our actions then, we are spreading Jesus' word if we are charitable. If we practice the forgiveness, if we practice generosity, then we are already spreading these words. So, and in a few lessons back, we also learned the value of the courage, to keep the courage, have the faith, courage in faith or faith in courage, but both are very important. I can't remember the order, but everything, all of those are very important to have that faith to keep doing it. and to keep spreading this positivity in our actions, in our feelings, in our thoughts as well. So that's how we can spread Jesus' words nowadays. It's not going to places and talking about it. It's by doing and by our energy as well. That's how it's a bit different nowadays, right?
I remember this story that she could, was this lovely mature lady that come to talk to him and say, and he asked her, what's your problem, my dear? And she said, everything's fine. I have a great husband. He looks after the kids. He looks after the house. He has a beautiful job. He's gentle with me. He's very nice. But he only has one problem, Sheep. And he asks, what is the problem? And she goes, he's not a spiritist. He doesn't believe in God. And then she could look at her and ask, does he do good? Does he help others? She goes, yeah. He does charity, he helps people, he helps poor, he helps those in need, etc. And she goes, then he doesn't need to believe in anything else. He's already doing good. The idea of being a Christian is just to follow what Christ says. He said a lot of amazing things. And if you still have people who just grumpy, oh, I'm not going to believe in that guy, say, okay, just do good then. Just do good in your life. Just help your brothers, your sisters, just help others. That's it. You don't need to wear the flag, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing good, you're already there, right?
That's the most important.
Yeah.
And just one comment. I was thinking, for me, it's Spiritism is a blessing because I learned that it's as you said, we can't force people to believe in that religion or God or something. And I think it takes time, and I think Spiritism is a blessing. It teaches us so much, and you improving, you're learning, and you start seeing things in different way. Oh, interesting. If she or he doesn't like or doesn't believe in the spirits, Spiritism, or Jesus Christ, years ago, for years, oh no, how? I'm trying to put it in someone's head. But it's just beautiful because we are learning and they said, no, you don't force. Like it says here, you don't force the people to believe in your beliefs. You give it time, everyone in different stage of evaluation.
They also should reflect on us to ourselves. Maybe do not force yourself as well so much. Don't be so rash, don't be so hard on yourself. You have it all you need to survive in here. Everything that you have right now, right here, that was given to you, your legs, your power of speaking, of thinking, the way you do things, that's all given to you. Those are all your tools to survive this life, to survive this incarnation. Be grateful for what you have. It could be much harder than it is right now. The trials and expiations that we go through every day, those are the answers, right? We ask for it. We ask to be better. We ask to do better. So there you go. There you have trials and expiations for you to get better, for you to learn more.
Yeah. Yeah, then comes the faith in the providence.
Yeah.
Meaning, we are in the right place, we are in the right time, and we have the capability to evolve, so it depends on us. But we need to also sometimes forgive ourselves because we made mistakes in the past, we'll make mistakes in the future. We are not going to be perfect, well, far from perfect, but over time, overnight, is every day, is a little bit every day. So it's important to keep going, and if we make a mistake, we recognize that, try to do better next time, and keep going, because we're not going to change from one day to the other.
A wise friend once says, if you want to improve your morals or intellectual, you create little habits, right? And you have the discipline of doing those habits every day, and one day they're just gonna turn into your morals. So just help who you are. It's those little things that you do every day, using the providence that has been given to you, right? And then you change. And one day, there you go, you're a positive person, you're doing good. Practice. That's all you have. Every single day you wake up and you have the opportunity. It's a beautiful day that you have never lived before. And you can do almost anything.
Yeah, definitely. Go. What's the time? Because what do you think? Should we do one of the next one?
That's the beginning of it, yeah.
Okay. So the letter here, sorry, is a little bit smaller. Can you guys read from the back or is it too small? Not reading. Do you want the book?
I think I hope if you
Have a look.
That's all right. No worries. Go. So we finished the chapter 25. So now it's 26. So we probably go through one or a couple of items there. Yeah, and then we go to the spirit school. So does anybody would like to read for us, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chapter 26. Give freely what you have received freely. And the items are the gift of healing, paid prayers, the merchant spelled from the temple, and mediumship free of charge. We'll start with the first one, the gift of healing. Item 1. Restore health to the sick, raise the dead, heal lepers, and cast out demons. Give freely what you will receive freely. Matthew 10:8. Item 2. Give freely what you have received freely. Jesus says to his disciples, by this precept, he prescribes that one should not charge for something that one has not paid for. What the disciples had received freely has the faculty of healing the sick and casting out demons. That is, evil spirits. This gift was given to them freely by God for the relief of those who were suffering and for the spreading of the faith. He told them not to make a business of it, an object of speculation, or a way to make a living. Item 3. He then said to his disciples, in the presence of all the people listening to him, guard yourselves against the scribes who walk around in the long robes to show themselves, who love to be greeted in the public squares and occupy the best seats in the synagogues and feasts, who under the pretext of long prayers devour widows' houses. For doing so, such persons will receive a harsher condemnation. Luke, Matthew, and Matthew.
Yeah.
4. Jesus also says, do not make anyone pay for your prayers. Do not do like the scribes who, under the pretext of longer prayers, devour widows' houses, which means to seize them with wealth. Prayer is an act of charity, an impulse of the heart. To be paid for prayer addressed to God for someone else is to make oneself a paid intermediary. Prayer, in this case, is a formula whose length is proportional to the amount of money it yields. Well, then one of two things applies. Either God measures or does not measure his blessings by the number of words. If many words are necessary, why say only a few of them, or not, or none at all for those who cannot pay? This is a lack of charity. If only one is enough, then more are pointless. So why make them pay? It is abuse of trust. God does not sell the benefits he grants. Why? Then would someone who is not even the benefits distributor and who cannot guarantee they obtained demand paying for requests that might not be answered? God cannot make an act of clemency, goodness, or justice that is request from divine mercy be dependent of a sum of money. Otherwise, the consequence will be that if the sum were not paid, or if it were, insufficient, God's clemency, goodness, and justice will be withheld. Reason, common sense, and logic states that God, the absolute perfection, could not delegate to imperfect individuals the right to put a price on divine justice. God's justice is like the sun. It is for everybody, for the rich as much as for the poor. If the extending of favors by earthly sovereign, it's regarded as immoral. It is any more legitimate to sell those of the sovereign of the universe? Paid prayers have not another drawback. Those who buy them very often believe that they themselves do not have to pray because they have given the money. We know the spirits are touched by the favor of the thought of those who are interested in them. What could be the fervor of someone who arranged for a third part to pray for them by paying for it? What is the fervor of this third part when he or she delegates this task to another, and that one yet to another, and so on and so forth? Does that not reduce the prayer's effectiveness to the value of a particular currency?
So we just stop. Comments?
It's interesting that those comments were written 150 years ago. Yeah, we're still doing that. Yeah, it was very clear the message, right? You only can give what you got, but if you got it for free, why are you charging? It was given to you with the mission of actually helping your spirit and others. Why you make the mission them charging? It wasn't given to you so you can make money. As a guarantee, it was given to you, and it can also be taken away from you, right? If you're not doing good, I think we talked about the fig tree, where it wasn't giving the fruits, and Jesus looked at the fig tree and said, well, cut it, die it. It's not doing what it should. It's wasting space, it's wasting time here. So it's the same, right? We all have to remember, and they always comments that, he's not here tonight. If you don't do bad, does not mean you're good. If you, as many as we probably know, people who go to church or whatever, they don't do any bad. They don't kill anyone, they don't steal from anyone, but if they don't do nothing else, that doesn't mean they're good. It means they're doing nothing. They inert. So it's bad. It's a bad thing. They're wasting time, right? It's just like the trees. It's not giving fruits. When we go to our next journey, where we carry on, disincarnated, we will have to talk about it, not just the bad things we did, but the times that we could do good and we did nothing. The times that we had the chance of doing good, but we didn't do anything. I always talk about it, we talk about the lotto, winning a lot of money. And you ask someone, what do you do if you get 25 million? The first thing the person always says is, I would help a lot of people.
Lots of
Isn't that?
charity.
I will give money to the charity. I will do this, I will do that. Well, if your urge, if your feeling of helping others is so strong, I got a surprise for you, you can do it right now. You go to a charity and say, give me a broom, I'm going to wipe the floor. They're going to be very happy. That's it, you're doing charity. You do not need to wait for their money for you to do it. You can do it right now, right here. So again, it's about how you pursue that, right? And he talks about those who actually believe that they gave money to the church, they give their part, and I can just be nasty with all my neighbors and everybody else, and I'm fine because I did give money. And it's unfortunate, but we have to understand also those people are motivated by wrong ones, right? By false prophets, as we have named before. People who actually abuse of the spirituality, abuse of the knowledge and manipulate others to actually do it wrong. They take those who have less intellectual morals or less opportunities to actually evolve them and explore them in a certain way. But again, it goes back to the common sense and the providence that we talked about. It. The good is in you, right? It's in you. It's how you practice. It's how your acts that you do every single day. And again, if you have if you're the head of a big church or religion, but you're not doing good, that's you're just wasting time. But if you're atheist, you don't believe anything, but you're doing good, there you go.
Yeah.
You will have a good path to go after, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I would add that the first place we can do something good is at home, close to the people that live with us, and in your job, in your work. We don't need to go to find poor people to help them. So there are lots of things to be done at home. And the first and most simple things we can do for them is try to keep peace and smile and yeah, make them happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep the good life.
Very important.
Yeah.
You can only give what you got, right?
Thank you. Any comments? Questions?
Just interesting that same rationale of pay for someone doing the work for you, and based on this, you believe that you're going to be forgiven or going to receive blessing. And unfortunately, we all say that we don't have time, so just gonna. It's easy to give money to those organization, charity, than give time, because time is most precious currency that we have. But when we give something that's not going to, we're gonna don't miss, because you'll be fortunate to have enough money that you can afford to help. It's not charity at all. You're just giving your excess. That's not.
Thank you. Penny?
I was thinking about the different religions. They give the what's the name? Gizmo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as I said before, we're all in different stages of the evolution, because some people in some churches, 200 people, all believe. The faith is so strong. If they give 10%, 15% of the salary every month, things going to happen to them. And who, I think, the pastor, como é que eu esqueci? Pastor?
Priests.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I think this one will be in a hard time because he can convince, manipulate, and elude people. Sometimes people have just time to meet at home, they still open their hearts to give what they have because they believe in it. And probably takes time, different incarnations to understand we don't need to give money to, someone would pray with us for us. And I think it's very serious still these days how some churches they invest in deluded people, the good souls, they're very naive, you know?
Yeah. It's So Spiritism also tell us that it's very important to try to figure out what's the intention. And because sometimes if people believe and they give the money, but they also believe in Jesus and do the right thing, yeah, they can evolve as well. So it's really hard to judge or say this is right, this is wrong, this person is doing this or that. And just depends, I mean, could be a priest that is charging, but at the same time is doing charity. So we don't know. It's very hard from the outside. We don't know what goes into people's heart and people's action as well. But yeah, of course, there are good intentions, bad intention, in all sorts. But it's very clear the message of Jesus. We need to kind of separate the spiritual values and the spiritual things from the material one. And can be really tricky because we are immersed in this life, in this reincarnation. And every day we have to go to work, we have obligations, we have bills to pay, so we can't just deny and not think about money and pretend that money doesn't exist and our responsibilities doesn't exist. So, but the point is for us to also pay attention in our spiritual life, because this is only temporary. We're here for X years, we don't know how many years, and while we're here, we have to balance the two, the material, our responsibilities, but also invest some time, as Togun was saying, like every day a little bit of reflecting on how we're doing, what are the things that we did well today, what are the things that I didn't do well, as Saint Augustine always reminds us to do. Did anybody would have a reason to complain about me? Did I upset anybody? So we always think that other people are upsetting us, but we also upset other people. Some people find us annoying, some people don't like us. So it's the way it is, right? But we should think about that and say, why I'm annoying this person and what should I do? Do I need to ask for, I'm sorry, or do I have to change my behavior? So it's about us dedicating part of our day or some time to reflect and be aware of what we are doing. This way we'll be looking after our spiritual life as well as the material one. So we've got to pay attention in both. But either way, whatever is spiritual, as was saying, the healing, the prayers, we can't sell that at all. And we can, even by logic, we couldn't put a value on it. So would that be by words? But what really matters not the words, is the feeling. So how can you put a price on the prayer? How can you put a price on the cure? It's impossible. So the things are separate, and we have to keep it separate if we want to follow this advice. So very important for us to reflect and do our part on that.
You guys talk about donations and giving money. I don't know if you had a chance of going to a marae before, and during the Kangatero practice of the Pofiri, when you arrive in the marae, one of the stages you have to give koha. So koha, which in the Western tradition will translate to actually a donation, but it's not necessarily mean anything material. It doesn't necessarily mean to give money. Sometimes they'll give you a feather, they'll give you a meaning, they'll give you knowledge, and the more important, they will give the most valuable thing we all have, which is time. No matter how rich you are, no matter how famous you are, the 24 hours of the day remains the same. If you so are entitled to live 24 hours again, time is the same. So it's very, very important. The person who actually gives time, the person who talks to you, or the person who you talk to, you are sharing the most valuable thing you have. No money can buy time. No matter how rich you are, Bill Gates always says that. He says, that's the only thing I cannot buy is time. So he has to make the most of it, right?
Thank you. Very cool. Cool. So we reach our time for the gospel, and we're going to do the spirit school now. Which is here. We are on chapter 9, the intervention of spirits in the corporeal world. And we have gone through a few topics so far. Yeah, there are a few. Do you want to do a little summary, please?
So we have talked a lot about the influence of the spirits in our world, and how sometimes they can actually influence us more than what we actually want, than what we actually wish. They can actually help us choose a lot of things, but they can also influence us doing something bad. They can actually help you, right? We talked about how your vibration is really important because it's based on that you will connect to a certain spirit. You can't be helped if you don't want to be helped. So if you don't have a good vibration, it will be really hard for good spirits to connect with you. Just so as we said, you tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are, right? So it's your friends, it's who is around you, it's who you connect with you, right? We also talk about how do you cancel the influence of the bad spirits, and it is just by being good. How do you cancel your connection with something that it's not helping your life? Well, don't match the energy, don't match their behaviors. You start to do good, and they will have no reason to be around you. They will have no reason to play with you. We talk about possession as well, where obviously a spirit cannot fully take control of someone's body because they already have a spirit that's assigned for their incarnated flesh, but they can influence you to the point where it causes you to have a lot of problems, even physical problems, depends on the influence and the magnitude that they cause. We talk about compulsionary states that can also be affected. What else? We talk about guard angels, that we all have this beautiful higher elevated spirit that's assigned to you when you were born to when you were there.
We continue with this tonight.
That's where we start, right? Yeah.
Guardian angels, protector, familiar, and sympathetic spirits. And the question is,
Cool.
thank you very much. Tanya, do you want to start that one for us, please?
Yeah.
495. That's okay.
It's a little long one.
Sorry?
I think it's a long one.
Oh, that's long.
But
We
the-
can break it, yeah, we can break in some paragraphs, so you don't need to read the whole. Maybe just the question in the first paragraph, and then we pass it on to the next person.
Okay, 495.
Mm-hmm.
To protect the spirits, sometimes abandon their own word when the later is heedless of their warnings. They withdraw when they see that their counsels are useless, in that the word earth will is strong in submitting to the influence of little evolved spirits. They do not abandon them entirely, however, in ways trying to make themselves heard. Their words are the ones who shut their ears. Their protectors return as soon as they are called.
Thank you, Tanya. Can you please keep reading for us?
If there is a doctrine that should convert the most incredulous by its charm and sweetness, it is that of the guardian angels. Isn't it a very consoling idea to know that you always have at your side beings who are more evolved than you, who are always there to counsel, sustain, and aid you in scaling the rugged mountain of the good, who are more reliable and devoted friends than the most intimate connection that may be contracted on earth. These beings are there at God's order. It was God who has placed them at your side. They are there out of love for God and they fulfill a beautiful but laborious mission alongside you. Wherever you may be, your angel will be there with you, in prison, in the hospital, in dens of iniquity, in the solitude. Nothing separates you from that friend, whom you cannot see, but from whom your soul nonetheless receives the gentlest impulse and hears the wisest counsels.
Thank you. Would you like to read the next paragraph?
My read's not good.
That's okay.
Why can't you understand this truth more fully? How many times you would help you in a moment of crisis? How many times if you'd save you from bad spirits, but on the great day of accounting, these angels of the God, the good might have to say to you, didn't I offer you advice? Yet you did not follow it. Didn't I show you the peace? Yes, you feel it. I made the voice of truth resound in your conscience. Yet you follow the conscience of a lying sect. Question your guardian angels. Stability between yourselves, and then that it makes tenderness that rises between best friends. Do not think of hiding anything from them, for they are the eyes of the God, and you cannot deceive them. Consider the future. Seek to progress in this life, and your trials will be shorter and your lives happier. Come take heart, once and for all. Avoid prejudice and interior motives. Enter upon the new pathway now opening before you. Forward, forward. You have guides. Follow them. Your goal cannot fail you, for the goal is God's goal.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. To those who think it's impossible that truly high-ordered spirits could devote themselves to such a laborious task, and at all instants, we will say that we cannot, that we can indeed influence your souls, even even though millions of miles may separate us. Space do not exist to us, and even while living in another world, our spirit retain our connection with you. We enjoy faculties that you cannot comprehend. However, you can be certain that God has not imposed a task on us that is above our strength, or that God has abandoned you alone on the earth without friends or support. All guardians angels have their wards, whom they watch over as a parent watch over their children. They feel happy when they see them on the path of the good, but mourn when they counsel are despised.
Do not fear tiring us with your questions. Rather, remain in contact with us always. You will thus be stronger and happier. These communications between each individual and his or her family spirit are what make all individuals, millions, ignorant today, but who will show themselves later, spreading out like an ocean without shores to sweep away these beliefs and ignorance. People of learning, teach. People of talent, educate your brothers and sisters without knowing it. The work you accomplish is Christ's work, which God has imposed on you. Why has God granted you intelligence and knowledge if you're not to share them with your brothers and sisters to enable them to progress on the path of joy and eternal blessedness? St. Louis and St. Augustine.
Thank you, everybody, for the reading. It was like a team effort. Everybody had a little bit. It's a very long answer. It's a short question, but I just put it in the beginning. So we can remember the question, right, after all of it.
The next paragraph is the Kardec explanation.
Oh, there's like a little bit more.
Oh, not on here.
You have that?
How long is it?
That's not so long.
Okay. I'll read that one. Sorry guys, we don't have it there, but we can all follow. The doctrine of guardian angels watching over their wards, in spite of the distance separating the wolves, has nothing surprising about it. On the contrary, it is grand and sublime. On the earth, do we not often see a father, albeit far away, watch over his child and aid him or her with his wise counsels through correspondence? Why should we wonder that there are spirits who, from one world to the other, are able to guide those whom they have taken under their protection, since to them the distance separating the two worlds is less than that separating the continents on the earth? Do they not have the universal fluids that connects all worlds, uniting them in solidarity with one another? An immense vehicle of the transmission of thoughts, as the air is for us the vehicle for the transmission of sounds? Now we finish the question. Yay. Yeah, so a very sweet and counseling information for us. And it's a good reminder. We know we have our guardian angel, but we forget about it. So in our business and being with so many challenges in our life, we simply ignore and forget. But our angel, guardian angel, is always there. Sometimes it's hard for them to connect with us because of our vibration level or because we're not giving attention to them. But if there is a little space, they're always trying to influence us. If we are a little bit open, they will be able to. And we know that we have our free will, so the more, even if they try to help us all the time, we will get help the times that we open ourselves for it, or the times that we choose to listen to them. But it's really good to know that, and it's really good to know that every moment, in the moments of difficulties, even if we are alone, if we are living the worst part of our life, we always have that protection and we always have the spiritual plan trying to help us. So yeah, it's very beautiful and it's very good for us to know that, right? Shall we, Tanya, shall we go that way? Any comments or any questions? No? That's all right, thank you. What about you? Not now? Okay.
Sometimes when it say listen to your heart, indeed we are talking about listen to your protectors. They are trying to communicate with you. They are trying to influence you. So when you think, oh, I'll try to listen to my heart, indeed we are connecting to our protectors. Or
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
When the expression listen to your heart is where you store love, right? On the parable. So when you say listen to your heart, you saying listen to those who love you. Listen to those loved ones. And your angel, so we call
Mhm.
these
Yeah.
spirits that help you, they love you. They are familiarized with you, they are your family. They love you. So when listen to your heart comes, listen from someone who loves you. Listen from a place that comes from love. And you shall find, you shall receive. Interesting how we got to this point where we just study exactly that on another book, right? The providence is all for you. You are not alone. You'll never be alone. Not even when you want to be alone, they will not let you alone. And we do have spirits who are here incarnated with us. They have the similar trait of mind. They're not going to leave you alone, no matter how much you push them away, because it comes from a place of love. It comes from the heart. Imagine how beautiful it would be, just like university, if you, every single step of your university, every single day, you have your mentors with you, right? Your teachers, all next to you all the time with their wise knowledge that you could access and ask questions anytime. Well, that's you every single day. Every single day you have a spirit that follows and helps you. A few of them sometimes. And they all there. They're there to help. It's up to you to listen. It's up to you to connect. Like we just say, there are so many spirits around us. And the ones you connected to are based on your vibration, are based on your morals and intellectuals. So do good, and you end up having more and more good around you, right? So I guess it talks about if these protective spirits will abandon you, and the truth is, it won't abandon you. It may give a little distance, because if you're not listening, if you're not actually doing good, that spirit will actually feel a little bit upset. The spirit will be happy for you when you're happy, but will be upset with you when something doesn't go how it should, right? The idea of us being here, being incarnated, so we can conclude something, so we can evolve. So again, from the plus, from your heart, those who love you don't want to see you suffering. Those who love you want to help you, right? Even that they don't know what to do. Sometimes people have very bad days, and you try to help them, but they don't wanna. They don't want to be helped. They don't want to listen. They don't want anything. But what you're actually trying to do is, it's not see that person suffering. So the spirits that love you, they're the same. They will try everything they can to help you, to provide you with good energy, to provide a good vibration. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's your choice who you connect to. It's your choice who you go with. So they will not abandon you. No matter how much you scream and doesn't want them to be around you, they will not abandon you, because you guys are connected by a feeling. You're connected by a mission that's way beyond the distance between your continents, as it shows there, right? They are in the spirit realm, and we are the incarnated one. The distance between here and there is much longer than here to Antarctica, right? Or no, New Zealand's actually close, isn't it? Here to, no, Brazil, yeah, it's a bit far. So we have to keep that in mind. Those tools, those providence, they are with you every single day. For you to access them, it's up to you. Do good, and good will come to you. Faith and courage.
Yeah. Trust in the providence. Yeah, it's all connected.
Sorry, as you say, talking, I read and watched some lectures in Brazil. It's interesting because who just starting to study the Spiritism get confused, because I heard your angel, your spirit guide never leaves you. But I read and heard people saying, oh, if you don't want to listen, or if you're going to that way, that path, they don't leave you totally, but they fast.
They could be helping from a distance. So that means it's not going to be, so for us can be tricky to understand, because in a material place, we always think about someone being next to us all the time, but even from a distance, they can help us. So we are here, we have some people in Brazil, for instance, that we love. We can still love them from a distance. We can still help them from a distance. So maybe where the confusion comes from, because not necessarily has to be next in terms of material, but in terms of connection, is always there.
Yeah.
The distance is not
I don't
kilometers.
talk about distance. What I read was, if a person decided to looking for, drugs or alcohol, whatever, and the angel,
Go away.
yeah, and depends. Sometimes you stay totally alone. But
So
I
it's
was thinking,
yeah.
how come?
I'll try to explain it a different way. So imagine you have a neighbor, right? And you do not know that neighbor. You just say hi. You don't know the name. You don't know anything. You are very distant from that person.
Mm.
You are not near that person, right? and then you have a child, your son, your grandson, whatever, they live with you at home, and you know them, you help them every day, you guys talk about life, You are very close to him. If he moves back to Brazil, you are still very close to him, but he's physically away from you, but emotionally, spiritually, you are very close to them. It's not that your mentor will go away from you. It will be hard for them to connect with you. It will be much harder for them to actually help you, to actually try to influence you and give you good, because you are surrounded by bad influence because you chose to. You know, of course, it's not always up to us what we choose. Sometimes we have problems that we just, getting deeper and deeper and deeper. But if you think about distance on the connection, on the vibration possibility, the capabilities that you may have, then it will make a little bit more sense. So they will never leave. They will assign to you. But the distance, the connection will be further away because you are going to a completely different path. And now you're surrounded by spirits that influence you in a bad way. You chose the connection with those ones, remember? The vibrations that we have. If you choose those habits that potentially will damage your physical body, cause you vicissitudes, and etc., it will connect with those spirits. So your connection will be a little bit from there, and they don't come from a place of the heart. They come from a place of materialism. They come from a place of influences, of anger, of jealousy, etc. That's where you're connecting to. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, because I was thinking it's impossible.
Yeah.
We stay totally alone in this universe.
It's a very human thing to think that. It's a very material thing where we think we can close the door and be alone, close the lights. That behavior does not belong to the spirit world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you everybody for all the comments, for reading, for the participation, for keeping the positive energy as well. So next week, pretty much we keep with the readings from where we stop. You can always check on Facebook and Instagram what we're going to be studying, but pretty much we just follow from where we stop. We continue with the Gospel according to Spiritism and the book, the Spirit's book as well. So you can check it out, and if you want, you can study before you come as well. So it's always good. Yeah. So thank you everybody. And now we're going to go and do our vibration and the final prayer as well. So we do a collective treatment, which is passive. We just do the collective one as well. Nice music, please. Let's then listen to the music, elevate our thoughts and our feelings, uniting our willingness to help, and together, let's do the vibrations of tonight. Let's start by visualizing our beautiful planet Earth. Embrace it with benefic fluids of peace, of health, of understanding. Let's take lots of love, especially to those places where conflicts still exist. Let's take our kindness to all of them. Let's also vibrate to those that are sick in a hospital or at home. Vibrate especially to those that may be on the streets without a shelter, without a place to live. Let's take then lots of courage and faith And I'm reminded that the suffering is temporary and new opportunities and new days always come. Let's also vibrate to our brothers and sisters that are in the prisons. Let's take them our comfort and the hope that new opportunities will come for them and for everybody. Let's also think about the kids that are in the orphanage. Let's vibrate lots of hope and faith to them. Lots of benefic fluids so they can do their best in this life. Especially in this time, winter that's much colder and can be more challenge for people that don't have a place to stay, don't have a warm home. Let's vibrate to them in our city and everywhere else. Bringing closer to us, let's then remember our family members, whether they are here or in other countries as well. Let's take our love, our kindness to them. Also remember our friends, people that we work with, people that we live with. Use this opportunity to think especially about someone that might be going through bigger challenge at the moment. Let's send us then our wish that they can overcome, that they can count on us, on our help, so they can go through the difficult situation, also learn from it, and become stronger after the struggles. Let's also try to remember someone that we have difficulties to get along or to communicate. Let's send to them vibrations of love, of understanding, and reconciliation, so we all can get better together. Because as Jesus said, we are brothers and sisters, and we learn to love everybody, regardless of the differences. Let's then open our hearts so we can receive the benefic fluids of tonight, so we can recharge ourselves with positivity. And would you like to ask our guardian angels, our spiritual friends, to help us to apply what we already know in our daily lives, to help us to be aware of ourselves and have the willingness to try again, to keep going and do our best. And then with our hearts full of gratitude, would you like to ask permission to finish another Allan Kardec meeting? That we can all go home in peace until we meet again in the next opportunity. Thank you. So neat. Thank you everybody for watching us. We'll be back Wednesday next week. Have a good night and take care. Bye bye.